gamers and non-gamers alike. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who has stood up for me while I've been in hiding. You see, I've received death threats from Magus X1, both in PM and on the phone. The threats that he has sent me have been extremely graphic, and I admit that I fear for my life. For the past day, I have been hiding in an undisclosed location, trying to figure out my next course of action. I have come to the conclusion that the only thing there is to do is to fight this menace and protect the innocence and integrity of games. After espousing the virtues of games, it would be hypocritical of me to back down in this current gaming crisis.
There are two things I would like to say before we continue on with this documentary. The first thing I would like to say is I am not a professional documentarian. I am an amateur at this, and I have not completely learned all the basics of how to make a documentary. So, if there are some parts that do not work, or that are not well researched, then I apologize. If there is anything that I have gotten wrong, please correct me in the comments, and I'll put those corrections in the description down below. Along with that, I would like to remind everybody once again, if not made clear by the intro, that this video is not for the faint of heart. It features many disturbing topics, such as discrimination, attempted assassination, and accusations of racism. So, without further ado, I present you the story of Semper Games. One of the more sadder things about the passage of time on the internet is that a lot of stuff does not stay permanent. The Library of Alexandria is always being burned. So sadly, the origins of Semper Games on the Gaming World forums have sadly been lost to time. The insight we could have gained if this website was still around today would have been immense when covering this story, but sadly, we have to make do with what we have. Thankfully though, I did find one piece of interesting information. Games Master Jasper is an artist. Games Master Jasper has produced a short-lived, simple, slice-of-life gaming comic somewhat in the style of, say, Control-Alt-Delete or VG Cats by the name of, you guessed it, Games Master Jasper. The comic itself features a lot of funny and interesting scenarios that I think you should definitely check out for yourself in the description down below. Along with that, we have his first video, an AMV, which at the time was a perfect video to help describe who you were and what you liked. Now, all of this is not what an engaging story, especially a story that has a documentary, makes. You see, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background on the type of person that Games Master Jasper was, understanding that he is not some weird cult leader like everybody seems to believe he is. Games Master Jasper, in my opinion, and also should be your opinion, is a good man. He is someone who wants to entertain and spread joy and just live the life that he wants to live, the life of a gamer. Like all great heroes, especially the ones in games, a great evil would emerge on the land, and only a true hero could defeat said evil.
Shrek is Drek. Shrek is Drek. Real fucking clever. You can make rhymes about Shrek. Real fucking clever. It's real funny, real cute. I really like that. Shrek is Drek. You think of that on your own? There's some people out there. There's some people who Shrek matters a whole goddamn lot to.
Probably one of the most infamous users on the entire website of YouTube would have to be CBoyRD. His videos are considered by many scholars of the internet video genre to be some of the worst videos ever made. Along with that, his video topics are often disturbing and also plagiaristic. Take a look at his famous or infamous video, Dilbert 3. I sadly have to show some of this, so if there are any children watching this video, please look away. It should of course be noted that obviously, CBoyRD does not own Dilbert. This video is in fact a bootleg, one of his many specialties throughout the years. But thankfully, the rule of tyranny that has been perpetrated by CBoyRD would not go unnoticed by Games Master Jasper, in a video that many scholars would consider one of the most important of all time, a video entitled Game Master Jasper's Bullshit and Inconvenient Gaming Truth. The leader of Semper Games, Game Master Jasper, would attack and call out this no-good ne'er-do-well and expose him for the person that he truly is.
Those of you who are familiar with my ways will know that I am a very calm, composed, sensible, and fair person, but there are some things in this world of consoles and computers that even I cannot stomach. I'm talking, of course, about copyright infringement. There is a certain YouTube user whose name shall not be mentioned. His name is CBoyRD, and he's been posting numerous uncanonical videos about characters that are obvious clones of other people's work.
The video itself is almost cerebral in nature, picking apart every piece of CBoyRD's many crimes and sins on the YouTube website platform in such a breakneck and visceral speed that no other rant so far, in my opinion, has even topped the level of viciousness and destructiveness that this video has.
Now, the person, if you can call him that, in question has been making numerous videos about different characters, one of which is called Black Homer. He has clearly based this character on Homer Simpson from the famous show The Simpsons. The only thing about this character that has been altered is his skin color, and apparently this Black Homer also uses narcotics, which is almost as immoral and unethical as the practice of stealing other people's characters. This is a double thumbs down from Games Master Jasper. This person has also been making videos about former rapper Tupac. Now, I'm a person who would rather enjoy the moving pieces of Koji Kondo than listening to hip-hop, but I know one thing, Tupac is dead.
Now don't go thinking that Games Master Jasper is your average angry ranter. That's far beyond the truth. Games Master Jasper, also being a spiritual leader of the movement known as Semper Games, has a moment that I think can inspire even the blackest hearts who are watching this video right now.
I would like to apologize for the harsh nature of this video. I certainly do not mean for this to come out as a personal attack, but as a games master, I feel it is my duty to protect the integrity of every gamer. So let's be nice to each other, gamers and even non-gamers alike. If I may quote myself, "In a universe with unlimited factors, there will be an unlimited number of possibilities, and an unlimited number of games that represent each possibility." Until next time, this is Games Master Jasper. Game hard, game safe.
And perhaps one of the most shocking moments in not just internet history, but any history, CBoyRD did not just leave the internet, but he converted to Semper Games. This man who was once dark and heartless, was moved and completely transformed from the inside out, and ultimately becoming a better person because of it. Sadly though, this would not be the result of every single war fought by Semper Games. The next story is something that haunts both sides of it. It is one of the most darkest stories in the internet's history, and some people would rather you not know it at all. I think one of the things some people might find it hard to swallow is that a respected member of their community committed such horrible atrocities. There's a quote that goes, "The greater the crime perpetrated by the leadership, the less likely the people will ever believe their leaders capable of perpetrating such an event." That unfortunately is a Hitler quote, but it's one that is applicable to the previous situation. One of the biggest threats that the gaming community has probably ever faced was one that came from the inside. Samuel T. Geek, otherwise known as the father of Samuelism, is an ideology that runs counterintuitive to what it means to be a gamer. His ideals are twisted, and all they do is destroy rather than create. It completely corrupts the idea of what it means to be a gamer. And probably his most wicked sermon of all time would be his GameStop rant.
Hey guys, this is Sounds a Geek. This rant may be mildly controversial. Anyway, I just want to say GameStop sucks. It just sucks.
A video that still to this day features moments that I feel go too far in any situation at hand. Some people might not like GameStop, and that's understandable, but what he said here is not only wrong, but it's completely out of order. And after seeing this video, Games Master Jasper would take action.
How dare you? Every GameStop employee is a champion in the front lines of the so-called war on games. The minor inconveniences you are complaining about are merely the sacrifices we must make in order to win this war. Someone once said, to game or not to game, that is the question. And that someone was me. If you choose to let a layer of plastic get in the way of your gaming, then you can't say you're a gamer at all. You're only a collector. In addition, the GameStop clerks, with whom I have had many ethical and philosophical disagreements in the past, test the games to make sure they're working at top performance. If they find one tiny bug, one defect at all with the game, bam, it's gone. Just like that. They're performing a service for you, the gamer. So before you even so much as think of criticizing them for this, although don't let your guard down, a healthy skepticism is in order, you'd better get your facts straight. You're here ranting and raving about perceived customer service problems when there's an actual gaming crisis going on. I'm not one to place blame on gamers, but in this case you are absolutely in the wrong. Absolutely. Oh, and one more thing. Wash your mouth with soap, kid, before you talk about games or gaming in the future. Thank you for your consideration. Signed, Games Master Jasper.
This response, whether intentional or not, would end up leading to a war. The 2008 War on Gamers is not your average internet flame war. It is a war that exists outside of the sphere. It is a war that defines how gamers interact with the public for years to come. And anybody who is around during that time will have a very visceral response if you ever mention it to them. This is a war between Semper Games, a group of scholars and gamers who just want to love their games and want to protect what they believe in, and the Samuelists, who have a well-funded propaganda machine and money coming from a dubious source. It would seem that Semper Games was outmatched, but Games Master Jasper has the heart of a warrior, who is not going to let his revolution die here. He was a real man, and real men fight against the most impossible of odds, because they have something that they believe in that is bigger than them, and bigger than anybody else can ever imagine.
Hi. I'm MKK My Pet from Gaming World Forums, and I'm here to talk to you today, Samuel G33K. You know, it's impossible to even understand why you've said the things that you have said about Games Master Jasper. Like, saying he's a racist? No, he's not. He's got plenty of black and Jewish friends and things like that, you know? He's not the kind of person that you think he is. He's an amazing person, okay? In fact, you know, Games Master Jasper saved my life. It's not cool. Why? Why did you make fun of him? It's not funny. I don't understand. Why? It's stupid. You saved my life.
The attack on Games Master Jasper and Semper Games as a whole would have ramifications in the intellectual space for many years to come. Before the rise and notoriety of Semper Games, Games Master Jasper was an intellectual, an academic if you will. He decided to make a study, the first gamer-based video study entitled Ethnicity in Gaming. The entire study was well researched and well developed throughout the many years it was going on, going to many different locations and areas, trying to understand the gamer from every different walk of life. It was a way, in his mind, to bring people together. But sadly, the Samuelists decided to use it to their advantage to try to break people apart. Because of the actions that the Samuelists partook in, race relations in the video game world are still set back because of it. It is one of the most damning pieces of evidence that I probably have on the Samuelist. One of the things that many of the nitpicking critics on the Samuelist side would describe and attack was his apparent quote-unquote unfair treatment of the Mexican people.
Let's delve into the world of Hispanic gaming and see what videojuegos they enjoy. That's Spanish for video games. Latino gamers tend to be RPG enthusiasts, the most popular RPGs being the infamous Grandia series and Arc the Lad. Latinos seem perfectly comfortable grinding for hours on end to attain the next level of armor or weaponry to maximize their character's statistics, and love to immerse themselves into their gaming environment, often taking time to learn about the game's backstory and lore. As a result, Latinos tend to perform poorly on skill-based games and do not have the quick reaction times of many other races. Still, with a little practice and luck, Latinos can rumble with the best of them. In conclusion, me gusta.
While to the untrained eye, this comment itself is not offensive in any single way. In fact, if you look at the study itself, in the description of the video that I was playing, then you would have noticed that this statement is actually pretty accurate when put in the context of that research. But sadly, the Samuelists and Samuel the Geek in general decided that he would twist these words. First, by making the absolute false assumption that this video in any way is racist. He would give this information to one of his more shadier contacts, the Mexican cartel. And because of this, a Mexican cartel member actually sent a threat to Games Master Jasper's own phone. And the audio is here with us today.
This is the puto Games Master Jasper. Yo, fuck you. Fuck you. Chinga tu madre, cabrón. You know who this is, you little bitch. This is Manus X1, bitch. Latino pride. I saw you talking shit about Latinos on YouTube, you fucking puto. I saw you saying we can game. That we are true gamers. Fuck that chicken shit, Games Master Jasper. Fuck that shit. I found your number, and you know what? I'm gonna fucking slit your throat. I'm gonna throw a pineapple through your window and blow you and all your video juegos up. Bitch, you think you can hide from me on the internet? I'm going to smother you with an El Salvadorian flag and shove it down your throat, puto. How do you like that? Prepare for muerte. I'm going to silence you, little game revolution. Keep you and the truth silent. If the truth about games got out, how the fuck do you think us fat caps at the top of the heap will make our snaps? The whole process going down there to break the shit up. Me, Samuel Tagik, Time Warp 1, Dark 64 Boom, we're all gonna go down there and slit your white ass throat. The Samuel Tagik gaming possess gonna fucking kill you. You are a dead man, Games Master Jasper. Estás bien jodido, cabrón.
Many Samuelists hope that this dirty tactic of theirs would inevitably stop Semper Games, but sadly, because of this, because of the message that was left, Games Master Jasper only became more stronger.
I will not back down. I will not stop telling the inconvenient truth about games, and I will never, ever stop gaming. You can't stop me, Samuel Tagik. You can't stop the gaming revolution, Magus X1. You can destroy my name, you can destroy my YouTube channel, heck, you can even destroy my games, but you will never, never destroy the gaming revolution. Soldiers of the gaming revolution, the time to stand up for yourselves is now. If you support the gaming revolution, make a video response of yourself nodding in approval. And if you, like me, choose to spend your money on games rather than computer peripherals, you can nod in words rather than pictures. The revolution either blossoms here or dies in obscurity. Semper Games. Semper Games.
Two times during the war, due to unfortunate circumstances, Game Master Jasper will find himself MIA from the war entirely. During this time, the Samuelists would gain some of their first wins. Small wins, but wins nonetheless. Being able to spread misinformation on multiple different web pages, message boards, and a few blogs, the well-oiled propaganda machine was doing its best work. And sadly for the members of Semper Games, without their leader, it seemed like they were playing by Samuel Tagik's own crooked rulebook.
And it seems that if Game Master Jasper truly did all this work, he's sure not sticking up for himself. It seems like you guys are picking up the slack for Game Master Jasper's responses. Because he obviously hasn't responded. You guys are just complete idiots.
Here's the thing I don't understand. What is with MKK My Pet crying? I don't think she was acting, y'all.
She wasn't.
I think she was taking the crap way too seriously. Game Master Jasper alone. Why does she have to do this shit? It makes me sick. You know, I mean, I can't fucking take anybody crying on a fucking video. It makes me sick.
During Game Master Jasper's second disappearance, it seemed that the Samuelists' chests were more puffed out than before, more confident than before, because in their minds, Game Master Jasper wasn't coming back. But, unluckily for them, that was beyond the truth. During one of Game Master Jasper's intense gaming sessions, while reaching for one of his trademark snacks, a Pocky, he later tastes the feel of poison, a Hispanic poison, if you will. This poison would end him up in the hospital, where many doctors believed that he could not game anymore. But like many other civil rights leaders before him, he persevered. During his hospitalization, Games Master Jasper would retrain himself on how to play video games, starting with simple ones first and then moving on to experienced ones and so on and so on. Along with that, fearing that a blood transfusion could mess with his gamer genes, he was able to convince his doctors to hook him up to an IV of gamer fuel. This would help him regain his abilities and bring him back to 100%. Along with this, while he was walking out of the hospital, he learned a few things that gave light to Semper Games and gave fear to all the Samuelists who might have been watching the video.
Not all news is bad news, though. I'm pleased to say that our gaming revolution is slowly but surely making its way into the public eye. More than once, I heard passerbys in the street greet one another with Semper Games, or say goodbye with Game Safely. It makes me proud to have fought this battle with all of you, but there's still a long way to go before we can finally put our controllers down and rest.
What Semper Games would do next still shocks and awes many of the people who are around today and after.
Autism, since we, that is autistics, are the chosen people of gaming, as stated in religious gaming scripture. Autistic pride, Semper Games.
Jihad Jerry is a man among men and a gamer among gamers. Sadly, many of his work seems to be lost, but what he was able to accomplish still exists. Being born with superior Arab and autism genes, he was able to accomplish no thing any other gamer has been able to accomplish. His iconic video, recorded by Games Master Jasper, showing him jumping the highest that any person in the first Super Mario game has ever jumped, is still legendary today. Many people attempt to copy this man, but it's impossible. He is too powerful for any gamer around. Men wanted to be him, and women wanted to be with him.
Hello, Jihad Jerry. I'm addressing this message to you because I just wanted to say congratulations. Good job on getting such amazing records in terms of Mario Jump. I think this is totally revolutionary to the entire world, to gamers all over. So, good job. Seriously.
Sadly though, where inspiration comes, so does jealousy. Many people after this would make fake accounts impersonating Jihad Jerry, and the Samuelists would attempt to defeat him. Along with spreading false information that Jihad Jerry was also Games Master Jasper, they would attempt to ambush him in a Skype call, trying to make him admit that his world record was fake.
I'm questioning the quality of the Super Mario Jump. You said it was recorded on a Betamax tape, and I'm sensing the emulation quality of it. So how is it so clear that if it was recorded on a Betamax tape? So it's very interesting to see. It looks like very emulation quality.
Well, I'm not really, as you can tell, I'm kind of technically disabled. I'm not sure. Well, like I said, I'm confused even at just thinking about using a next-gen gaming controller, and I'm not the one who recorded the jump. That was done at Jasper's house, and he recorded using it. So it's a shame he's not here so he could go into the specifics. But I don't understand. This is a question I've been receiving a lot in these interviews, but I don't understand how you could doubt the authenticity since it's right there in plain sight for you to see.
Well, actually, what could have happened, since usually Betamax tapes have really choppy quality, but sometimes YouTube can change the quality. It depends on what editing system you use.
I see. Well, maybe I know Jasper's. He's got connections in high editing places. Since we're cranking out all sorts of. We're really busy making some Semper Games media and refining them, and I'm sure, no doubt, that he ran through the same sources that we're using.
But Jihad Jerry, Gaming Fuel promotes Halo 3, and Halo 3 is a next-gen game. Isn't that disobeying the true gamer order?
Right, and that's adding insult to injury. That's just a slap in the face because, as I've said, Game Fuel is a millennia tradition of brewing, and they've incorporated. They've taken my people, the Arabs, aka Muslims, our history, our rich history of Game Fuel brewing, and they've incorporated it to sell this next-gen console trash. It's sickening.
Game Fuel was only a promotional for Halo 3. No other game had that.
No. It's been around for millennia. Actually, when I achieved my Mario jump, I cracked open a millennia brew that was handed down from generation, like from 1,000 years ago, the millennia brew, from professional Muslim gamers. And that's what really gave me the extra boost to do that Mario jump. Not to say that any game flow isn't good for helping with the Mario jumps, but that one certainly did the trick, as you could see.
Yeah, I got a question. I heard people criticizing you that for your little Semper Games community is being a cult and the brainwashing thing behind that one that Semper Games is. So is that kind of accurate about being in a cult?
I don't see how it's a cult. I think that Semper Games is as much a cult as being, as much as an appropriate label of being cultist as being a Latino or being an Aspergian, like 3 out of 5 of us in this chat room right now. It's just something that's innately in you or isn't. And if you, I mean, I'd really like to say that it's sad. I'm genuinely sad right now that you guys just, for whatever reason, have labeled us a cult and just can't see it, can't let us into your gaming hearts. Our message is nothing but love. And mostly games, but love too. And love of games.
Hi. Now, I've seen another one of Games Master Jasper's latest videos, which I think he was talking about Mr. Shiggy or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's an old friend of ours. He's a great friend. Over.
Well, how did Games Master Jasper get an interview with Shiggy? I think the question you asked. Hey, I'm talking here, gamers. Can you name like 3? No, 5, 10, 15, 20. Can you name 20 16-bit or below PC games that have come out within the last 5 years? Over.
Oh yeah, every single Flash game.
Those are Flash games. I'm talking about professional developed games.
What about the Microsoft XNA games?
I'm glad that people go out and make their own games, but like I said, like it's been stated, the main cause of the revolution, the gaming revolution, is to fight back against these gaming corporations. If the users go out and make games that are 16-bit and below, more power to them. I hope they find their way to the revolution. But I'm talking about the developers, the gaming corporations. Over.
Why does games that aren't 16-bit, why are they discriminated against?
You mean by the gaming religion?
Yes.
Because they're moving forward, but they're really not bringing.
It's 7 o'clock.
If you remember, back in the golden age of gaming, it's actually called the golden age of gaming. Back in the Super Nintendo days, especially, there were games every month coming out that were classics. You could look in your Nintendo Power, whatever, and you'd see games like Earthbound and Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger was my last most anticipated title. That was my last most anticipated title before Mega Man 8 is coming out. And so it's nice to have a new anticipated title after what, a decade or so. But yeah, you could see classic A+, 100%, whatever you want to call them, A1 games coming out every month, and now you're just you're seeing these games. They're with what they're called. What are they? Retro revivals. They're cashing in on the classic good gaming name of these games, and I'd like to take further issue with the phrase a retro revival, because that kind of assumes that the game is dead. If you're reviving it, I think that they're very much alive, and they're making a mockery of its life. It's immortal. How can you put a death, announce the death of a classic? Now, as of this moment, I'm declaring it Gaming History Month. Upcoming for Ramadan, because for Ramadan's coming up September 1st, so I'm not going to be allowed to game until sundown. So I'd like to announce, while we're not gaming, we could be studying. So make the best of it. Over.
Okay, so
And on that note,
questions.
I'd like to say that was the last question I was going to answer. So I just like to say, happy gaming Ramadan. Make the most of gaming of the gaming history month and Semper Games, Latino pride.
All right.
Sadly, though, for the Samuelists, this would be a futile effort, as almost a week after the release of Jihad Jerry's famous video, Games Master Jasper got 99 subscribers. The war was over. The Samuelists have lost. Samuel TheGeek would later write his terms of surrender. There was nobody left that could fight the revolution of Semper Games. Games Master Jasper would continue to truck along throughout the remaining years, but in 2010 tragedy would strike. Walter Day would die in 2010. For those who are not familiar, Walter Day is considered a figurehead in the video gaming community. In the 80s, he would help discover the group Twin Galaxies, a group known for categorizing every achievement in video gaming history. And in fact, is one of the reasons why the Guinness Book of World Records even has a gaming catalog to this day for their work in gaming history. The populace at large might know him best for his appearance in The King of Kong, which would introduce the world to video gaming's #1 bad boy, Billy Mitchell. This affected Games Master Jasper so much that he made a slideshow tribute video to Walter Day. But I think what stopped him from making videos for a while, and what ultimately made Semper Games go from a major gaming revolution to somewhat of a more dormant group, was the injustice against Walter Day after his death. At no point during or after, no publications recognized the death of Walter Day. None of them. The only people that did were Semper Games. Along with that, the Wikipedia article for him, Walter Day, is still to this day missing the information date of his death. This, ultimately, I feel, broke Jasper's spirits a little bit. I do not want to assume anything about the great leader, but after that, we haven't seen him for a while. Along with that, many of the Semper Games members would end up going underground. Some people think, after this, that the gaming revolution completely died out. Gamer Gates.
Bro, YouTube, this is Jace right here, and this is my fucking car, or my mom's car, that when I was street racing could not perform!
Gamer Museums. Gamer Drink. Game Stop.
We like to stop. We like to stop.
Gamers Rise Up. Everything after the discourse online and sometimes in politics would not be accomplished, would not exist in my opinion, if it wasn't for Semper Games. This is why I make this video. This is why I tell the story of Semper Games. Because without them, there would be no modern internet. These people are trailblazers, trendsetters, people who get the ball rolling, mover and shakers. All of us making our little dumb memes for our little dumb Facebook groups. We're nothing. We're nothing without them. And I give my thanks to every single member of Semper Games. Not many innovators would ever see their life's work embedded into the cultural zeitgeist. Games Master Jasper was one of the lucky few to actually experience such a thing. His last YouTube video, as of now, was him thanking the many gamers who decided to follow the lead of Semper Games. While he hasn't posted many YouTube videos anymore, he still exists on Twitter. He gives out helpful advice and gaming facts to anybody who would listen. He is truly a kind and gentle soul, someone who just wants to spread his beliefs to the world. But sadly, his generosity might ultimately have led to his downfall. It is a known fact among many gamers and gamer circles that the Middle East is known as the land without no games. We, as lesser gamers, decide to just ignore this fact. Games Master Jasper was not having it. He decided that he was going to go to the Middle East and give out free games to the populace. While at first, the ultimate conquest to bring gaming to the Middle East might have been working out for Games Master Jasper, it sadly took a turn for the worst, leading to one of the most shocking moments in gaming history. I'm in the Middle East looking for games. I am very weak because I haven't found a game yet. Semper Games. The next day, Games Master Jasper would post another tweet. I'm in the Middle East looking for games. I'm living in a car in the Middle East. I'm very weak from having found no games. If you live in the Middle East and you know where there are some games, please come by and let me know where I can find some games. Semper Games. After this, we would not find any more posts from Games Master Jasper after a couple of weeks. The next time he would post, we would discover the devastating reality of Game Master Jasper's reality. On February 2027, Games Master Jasper's Twitter would post in Arabic. Not a lot of people would understand what was going on, but I was able to run it through a translator. Some people still may not get the full picture of what happened to Games Master Jasper after this, so this might be the first time you hear about this. Viewer discretion is advised. I found this guy on the street. He's in the hospital now. Contact us if you know him. The young man's condition is improving. He hasn't eaten anything in a week. Please call if you are a loved one. The last post we'd see would be him attempting to say Semper Games one more time. Was this truly the end? Did we really see the death of an icon? This couldn't have been happening. Tell me that Games Master Jasper wasn't dead.
I'm the head of the motherfucking state, nigga. I brought you change, nigga. What the fuck you thinking, nigga?
Through the linking of Barack Obama and Games Master Jasper through Gaming Chi, Games Master Jasper survived and lived to see another day. It is unbelievable how this happened, but what we do know is that Games Master Jasper is back. Semper Games will never die, and Games Master Jasper will live forever. Well, I guess this is the end of the video. You probably want some big moral at the end of this. You want, what is the story? What is the story? Maybe it doesn't have a story. Maybe I just like Semper Games. I do. I think it's a funny little bit of art, and I do consider it art. I feel like what Games Master Jasper did, as dumb as this may sound, was pretty revolutionary, whether he wanted that to be the case or not. He was probably just doing something that he thought was funny and only funny to himself and maybe a few other friends. So, I guess the moral of the story is this. If you want to do something that only you find entertaining, go do it. Just do it. Doesn't matter how many dislikes, how many people you might piss off. None of that matters. Just be who you are and be glad that you are who you are. And if everybody in the entire world thinks that person is bad, fuck them.